All right, guys, what's going on? It is officially August 1st, 2023, which means the contest to win the Schwing die-cast scale model is officially closed. Tons of great comments. I've got about 20 to 25 of them that I have set aside, and I'm hoping later this week or early next week, Dan and I, we're going to sit down. We'll make a video out of it. We'll go through all the comments, and we're going to pick a winner. I will say right now that instinctively speaking, there is one comment in my mind that definitely stands out. I'll see if Dan agrees. He and I will discuss it. We'll hash it out, and we will come up with a winner. But I can say probably Wednesday of next week, at the latest Saturday of next week, we should have definitively chosen a winner. So enjoy today's video, and thanks for everybody that participated. Really happy with the participation, and just the level of input and courtesy and respect amongst the commentators, or commentors, I should say. And yeah, something we'll probably look at doing again in the future. But for now, we will work on picking a winner, and we will get back to you and let you know. So enjoy the video for today. Over and out. All right, we got a little break here. Putzmiester CP2110. Captain Dan at the helm. Good story to this pump. We bought this pump brand new back in 2014 for pumping one of Dan's jobs for the company he was with at the time, which was Trump Tower, downtown Vancouver. 57 stories?
No, it was like 68 or something.
Well, they called it that, but when you take out the 14s and the 4s and all that, yeah, it was about 57, right?
It was at the time, I think, the second tallest building in Vancouver.
Yes, correct. Second tallest to Shangri-La. High chemical mix. Do you recall offhand what kind of output this thing was laying down at the top floors on that building?
We were still doing probably, I would say, around between 40 and 50 meters an hour. That's
how I remember it too. Yeah, it was a big step up. Previously, we were using a little 2109 trailer pump on that job, and this thing was just night and day difference. But yeah, so we pumped that job. We did one more tower after it. Then we had a lull in work for this thing, and we actually traded it into Putzmeister. It spent a year in Las Vegas at the Resorts World project, and then it sold back to Eastern Canada. Didn't do much there, and then we actually bought it back for an Amazon job downtown, used it there, pumped about 80,000 meters with it, and then that finished up. Once again, we had a lull, and now the proud new owners, G-Form Enterprises. So they're doing what are these towers, about 50 stories?
These are just 40 stories.
Only 40? Okay. Yeah. So today we're only at 15 a day, so this thing's not even working. Once we get a load of concrete to the pump, we'll get a little footage of that. What do you want to say about the pump, Dan? What do you like? What don't you like? What's great about it?
It's just a easy pump to maneuver. Driving around with this thing, it's like a little go-kart, because you got such a big engine for the high pressure kit and everything, that when you're just driving it as a truck, you have no issues getting around.
And you've done a lot of high pressure pumping. How do you find this Putzmeister compared to some of the other stuff?
This is a dream. It's maybe not like the super high end, but it'll do probably most anything up to, I'd say, 70 stories without too much struggle at all. Especially when you're going like 40 stories or 50 stories, it's not even hardly working. I
guess the next step up will be a BSA 14,000, right?
Yeah.
But for what we do around here, we don't really do a lot of stuff that's really tall and really high volume. So I think this is pretty sufficient. I think it's way more convenient than having a trailer pump.
Oh, it's a lot easier to hook up and everything.
Yeah.
Go from one side of the site to the other, or other projects.
In our market, most of the sites don't really want to accommodate a trailer. They don't want to really leave it on site, right? So this is way easier. We enjoyed our tenure with it, or its tenure with us, whatever you want to call it. So this thing is 2200 psi on rod side, 3200 psi on piston side. I think the hopper, I believe, is the same as the BSA 14,000. I think the only thing that's really different is just less horsepower. So we climb up here. Big heavy shift cylinders, monstrous drive cylinders. That's where all the oomph comes from, is up here. Great big heavy tie rods connecting the water box to the hopper. an auxiliary fuel tank on here because this thing does eat fuel, as most of these high-rise pumps do. Yeah, I think the hardware, drive cylinder, shift cylinders, all that, I believe it's the same as the 39. We'll verify that with Dan. But yeah, Mack chassis, should have got air ride on it. Unfortunately, this one is the Camelback springs, bit of a bouncy ride. 505 horsepower Mack MT8 engine. Oh look, you can see the traces of its former ownership. AJ's yellow. But yeah, no, this was an awesome pump when we had it. It's just the way high-rise work goes. It ebbs and it flows. And when we've got breaks in between stuff, the issue with this pump is it's kind of too big to do any regular line pumping. So we usually use 2.5, 3-inch hose for regular line pumping. And it's just too much jam. So too big, too much jam, kind of a high-rise only or heavy commercial work only. So we'll get some footage here when we're pumping. All the hardware on this is the same as the 39 pretty much, right? Drive cylinders, shift cylinders.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think Dan didn't watch my video on dunnage calculations. You're gonna lay this thing over, man. This is dangerous.
There's no pressure on there.
I know, I'm joking. I'm just giving him a hard time.
I do have pads. I do have the pads are on the other side. If we set up on sand,
yeah,
or something, I will put the pads down.
Yeah, I know, we were the same. I'm sure it all calculates out okay. Anyhow, we'll get some footage here when we start pumping away. But you can see the lines up top there for high pressure, low pressure. You just swap the lines around. There's a couple jumpers inside the electrical panel that I believe you have to change around too. But it's pretty straightforward. You haven't had it on high pressure yet, have you?
Haven't needed high pressure.
Yeah, and you've gone like 50 stories?
Yeah, 56.
56 without switching over to high pressure. So yeah, it's a safe bet. It's a 70-story pump at high pressure.
Oh, I'd say so.
To my knowledge, the guys who had it down in Vegas when they did Resort World, they didn't switch it to high pressure either. So I think we were the only ones that did.
Their mixes aren't as friendly as up here either.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they have, I know that they're way more rocky, but I don't know that if they have as much chemical or not. That'd be an interesting comparison actually. So anyhow, we'll get some footage here of this thing laying it down. Like I said, it's only 15 stories up, so she's not hardly working here today. There we go. We got some concrete. Hold on. Just getting videos of concrete falling in a big hole. No big deal. Where'd you get that from? Alliance sells it. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice feature. Keep the drivers safe.
It's actually two blast mats. One here, one on the other side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I like that. Extra safety. So what are we pushing? What do we got?
You see it on there? Pumping 33 bar. What is pushing through the pipes right now? 1300, 1400, between 1350 and 1400 RPM. 62 meters an hour according to this.
And that's a 3 on the volume.
Yeah.
So if you were to put it at 10, not that we will, what do you think? 80 meters an hour? Whoa, whoa, hold on. This guy's an animal.
98 meters an hour.
Wow. There you go. Now that is, as we all know, those are a little bit optimistic, so it's probably really like 85.
Yeah, probably like 80, yeah. 80, 85.
Either way, pretty good for residential towers. So
20% off.
Yeah, 20% off. Tuesday special, just for you. One thing I noticed here over on the pump, for our friends south of the border in the United States of America. We got one too. We got one just like you. We can relate. Oh, I hope it ends soon. That's all I can say. I hope it ends very, very soon. Anyhow, oh, actually, you know what? You know what's a really cool feature? You can't do it from the remote though. The pressure limiting.
Oh.
From the remote or from the combi box? It's one of my favorite things here. So say you're only pumping up 10 stories, and if you were to have a plug, you don't want maximum pressure on the pipeline. Watch this. Okay.
Okay. We'll get it on this. Now I'm pumping up 144 bar is what it's set to right now.
Yep.
So I've moved this cursor so it's on the
Yep.
thing, and I'm going to lower the bar. I know that we don't need above 50 bar. And I just put it halfway. Oh. Push enter. Now it's set.
Now we're set. Yeah, the pressure one is a really handy one, right? Yeah. Especially if you're using it as a regular line pump. Dial the pressure down for your 85 bar rated line, and you're good to go. So anyhow, that's the CP2110 Putzmiester truck mounted line pump. And Captain Dan, over and out.